New labor data from the state shows the unemployment rate in the Buffalo Niagara region went up in the past month, now standing at 3.6%.
At the same time, the labor force is tickling down. To talk more about this, right now we are joined by Fred Floss, professor of economics and finance at Buffalo State University. Fred, thank you so much for coming in this afternoon.
Thank you.
So first, break down the numbers for us. There's a lot of data from the state. What do you make of them?
Right. And it can be confusing because we talk about employment, we talk about unemployment and labor force. And the labor force is simply all the people who have an opportunity to work basically from 16 to 65. And that's your labor force. Some of these folks are going to be unemployed. What economists look at, and we say that 4% unemployment is full employment because some people will be moving in and out of jobs. So they'll be unemployed for a few weeks, but they have another job that they're going to. So being at 3.1 or 3.6% says that we have a very tight labor market. So the problem here isn't necessarily that there aren't enough jobs. The problem may very well be we don't have enough people.
That's interesting. Now, how does that trend reflect or perhaps compare or contrast to years past? Have we had a glut of people able to work and fewer jobs? Has that trend changed at all in the past couple of years?
If we go back to the 1990s, we had about 60,000 more people in Western New York. So it's not just the city of Buffalo, it's Erie and Niagara County. We had about 60,000 more people working in Western New York. That went down dramatically during the Great Recession in 2008. We had just about worked ourselves back up to where we were before 2008, and now we've sort of hit a speed bump. So we're at about 98% of where we were before the pandemic.
Now, what is not reflected in the numbers, because they stop at October, the Sumitomo rubber plant. How would that potentially sway the numbers that we're looking at?
Well, that's going to be an interesting question. First, we need to feel very bad for the families of everyone who's working at the plant, because it's not only that it's a job, but it's a good union job with union benefits, health benefits, and other things. And that's going to be important to the community, because if you don't have health insurance, are you going to go to the doctor? If you don't have money, are you going to go to the supermarket? So it's not just the families, but the people around the families that jobs depend on. But the problem is, partly because no one's going to work, no one needs tires. And so worldwide, there's a glut of tires. And in fact, Buffalo isn't the only city that's losing a tire manufacturing plant. There are plants in Germany, in England, in Japan that are also closing down. Maybe not from Sumitomo, but from other tire plants that are going on. The question for us is, what are we going to do with this opportunity? We have this plant, this large plant there, and it's not like the Coke plant that was a brownfield that needed to be cleaned up and cost millions of dollars. We should be able to repurpose this plant and put good jobs back into that. But that's going to take work from not just the local government, but the state government and federal government to reimagine
what they can do to bring more people downtown, because there are so many thousand people who are working from home. There are tens of thousands of people fewer in downtown Buffalo because the office spaces are not being filled. What economically can the city do, or what kind of approach do you think would be good to provide a better foundation for downtown with all those workers gone?
So part of what they have been doing over the last few years is they've been putting together condos and other things in downtown so that people will live downtown, and then they'll be involved downtown. So, you know, we have a hard time with a supermarket downtown. Well, that's because we don't have enough people downtown where that's their regular supermarket to go to. So we need to build up that kind of apartment dwelling and get the density back that we need to allow the city to go. But the biggest problem that the city faces is about 45% of their tax base is off the tax rolls because it's either federal buildings, state buildings, schools, or religious buildings. And so while it's important to have a new UB medical school downtown, they're not paying any taxes to the city of Buffalo, but the city still has to do the services. They have to snow plow, they have to have police and fire, but they don't have necessarily the resources to do it because we have such a large percentage of downtown Buffalo doing that.
Unfortunately, our time is short. Professor Fred Floss, thank you so much, as always, for coming in and sharing your insight with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.